We're working on that.
Good evening. We're going to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for April the 5th, 2021. Before we get into our agenda items, we will have two presentations at this time by Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. We'd like to recognize two city employees who are going to be retiring from city service. The first is Sherry Cotton, who began her career at the city of Muskogee in 1969 in the Revenue Division as a utility clerk. In 2000, after 31 years of service, Sherry took a brief vacation from the city but later decided to rejoin her old team back in 2003. Sherry then served almost 18 years in the Revenue Division before her retirement on March 19. Sherry has approximately 49 years of total service to the city of Muskogee. Sherry enjoyed her position in the revenue and in getting to meet and help the citizens of the city of Muskogee. Sherry is looking forward to spending her retirement relaxing, but only after she does some redecorating to her home. Help me acknowledge Ms. Sherry Cotton. Sherry is unable to be with us tonight, but we want to acknowledge her. The second employee that we want to recognize is Danny Gable, who started at the city on May 10, 1993 as a maintenance worker 1 in the water distribution division. In 1997, Danny was promoted to the equipment operator 1 position within water distribution, where he served approximately 3 years and then transferred within the division to a meter technician position. In 2002, Danny was promoted to the water distribution superintendent, where he served the city for the next 19 years. Danny is currently enjoying his retirement and getting to spend every minute of the day with his dogs after 20 years of service. And while he could not be here with us on tonight, please join me in recognizing Danny Gable. This is Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'm going to come down and make a presentation of the proclamation, and those individuals who are here to represent the many organizations who work in the child abuse prevention area, I'm going to ask that you join me at the front of the podium at this time. This is a proclamation in recognition of Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas child abuse prevention and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding a solution requires input and actions from everyone in our community. And whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lifelong consequences for victims of abuse. Whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and partnerships created between child welfare, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, and law enforcement agencies. And whereas everyone in the community should become more aware of child abuse prevention and consider helping parents raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. And whereas the impact of abuse and neglect has long-term personal, economic, and social costs, therefore hurting Oklahoma's future. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships created among citizens, human service agencies, schools, faith communities, health care providers, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now therefore, I, Marlon J. Coleman, Mayor of the City of Muskogee, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and urge all citizens of Muskogee to dedicate themselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. Help me in recognizing this proclamation and celebrating these wonderful individuals who help in the child abuse prevention area. Ladies, I'm going to ask that you just give us your name and the organization you're representing tonight.
Sure. I'm Suzanne Hughes. I'm with CASA for Children here in Muskogee.
I'm Haley Poffel, and I am with Kids Space Child Advocacy Center here in Muskogee.
On behalf of the city, let me thank you all for your tireless efforts. We recognize that the work you do is necessary for us to have a strong and healthy community, especially in the protection of our children. So thank you very much. We're going to take a photo. Okay.
2, 3. Okay. Mayor, if I may, we've had a request to get all the council that wore blue as well together with the group photo with the ladies and Mr. Tucker and Kenna, if you'll come as well.
I'm coming up. I'm just going to see if some more people are. Then I can send it to Haley.
One, two, three.
Better photographer.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll go into the agenda items for tonight. Agenda item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of March 15th, 2021.
Reviewing the minutes, are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Evelyn Hibbs. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments March 6th, 2021 through March 26th, 2021.
Do we have a report from the purchasing committee?
Yes, the purchasing committee met and we recommend approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve our claims list. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of best bid from Citywide Property Maintenance for the abatement of posted properties in the amount of .007 cents per square foot for mowing, $30 per cubic yard for removal of trash and debris, cost plus $5 per 4-foot by 8-foot sheet for boarding up of structures, and no charge for spraying of weeds or take other necessary action.
Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir. The Code Enforcement Division requested bids for the abatement of lots within the city. Contractors will abate properties that are in violation of city ordinances. Examples of abatement include mowing lots, hauling off trash and debris, and the boarding up of unsafe structures. The properties are only abated after they've been through the abatement process and that property owner has failed to comply with the notice from the city. Once the property is abated by the contractor and code enforcement inspects the property to ensure the work was performed to the satisfaction of the city of Muskogee, the payment will then be authorized to the contractor. The owner will then be billed for the cost of the mowing and a lien placed against their property. We did receive 3 different bids, and that we're recommending the bid from Citywide Property Maintenance. Citywide Property Maintenance was the best bidder for all 4 areas that were bid.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Evans?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Evans, about how many properties do we do this for per year?
During the summertime, approximately, we're abating anywhere from 30 to 40 properties per week. It varies obviously between mowing season to later in the fall, the December areas where it's a little bit slower. The mowing season has slowed down, and we've switched over to cleaning up trash and debris. So we do hundreds, if not thousands, a year.
Can we do everything we need with one contractor?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Evans, who do we have now doing this job?
Heartland Property Maintenance.
Okay. Have we ever had the citywide property maintenance before?
Yes, sir, we have.
They do good work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just curious. Another thing is, why are they not charging anything to spray? Because they got to be out of money if they're spraying, right?
You know, that's up to individual contractors to bid what they want to put in. I believe there's also another, one of the other 3 also put no charge for spraying. I think they see it as they're there to mow the lot, and while they're already there, they want to make the investment to go ahead and spray it. But I can't tell you their individual reasoning for not charging. But That's something that's been done in the past also.
Okay, I was just curious about that. When you don't have no charge and you still got to be out of expense, I was just wondering.
Yes, sir.
I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for this item or any more questions for Tyler?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Williams Contracting LLC for Hatbox Event Center Project Number 2019020 in the amount of $61,234.87, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Mr. Chairman and committee members, this item is Williams Contracting has submitted all the information necessary to close out the project. It's been accepted and completed and satisfactory to the city of Muskogee. This is the final payment from Williams Contracting for the building of the Hatbox Event Center. And the amount listed on the agenda item is incorrect. In your, we failed to update a number on the agenda item, but it's in your packet. The correct number is $62,240.87. And we would recommend that for approval. The city manager asked that I give you a few highlights from our new facility. I think most of you have been there. This is an aerial shot for those that are unfamiliar with where the new construction is and how it connects to the two existing buildings. That's the building to the west on your left in this photo, and then the older hangar on the on top view, or the north side of the new event center. Of course, we're just now wrapping this project up, but the contractor had it substantially completed by in October, and so our first event there was Jeep Jam. There's a couple of photos just to show you the new facility in use. Of course, everyone knows that this new building was envisioned as to help support the Muskogee Regional Junior Livestock Show. So there's some photos of the new arena there inside the new event center. Just another photo of how the building was used for the livestock show. Then recently, this event just happened. This Riolana's consignment sale. I just stole some photos off of her Facebook page, but just to give you a feel for how, if you didn't get a chance to go out to this consignment show, this is what the building looked like when it was full of these children's clothes. So, and I threw this into the end of the presentation so we can say we've wrapped it up. So we're pretty happy about the build, and it's a great photo of the building and what it basically is there when it's not occupied. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Wilkerson? Or do we have a motion?
Motion to approve with the corrected amount.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval to submit an application to AARP Community Challenge Grant for additional sidewalks from Gibson Street to Civitan Park in the amount of $23,580, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This grant request is a request of the AIM Infrastructure Committee, and is a result of our current ongoing Connect Muskogee strategic planning for transportation priorities in the community, both pedestrian and public transit and bicycling, and trails and things. And so through this process, we learned of what some priorities were, and one of those priorities was here at Civitan Park, predominantly on the sidewalk adjacent to Gibson Street, in the crosswalk there from the School for the Blind. So this grant opportunity became available, this AARP Community Challenge Grant. It's due, the grants are due, I think, April 14th, so we need to get to you to make get your approval to submit this. Basically, it's a 300 feet of sidewalk adjacent, replacing the existing sidewalk there that's basically demolished. It's just all broken up and it's settled and sunken, and we're going to make a little bit wider of a sidewalk. And then we're going to take it from the street all the way up to the playground, the new playground, the new splash pad there at Gibson Park. So that's another 970 feet. So the total project will cost an estimate of $47,160. We've added $500,000 of in-kind that will be city forces to do the demolition there. And we'll be asking for $23,580. We'll be providing a cash match from the city's grant fund, matching grant funds to if we're awarded this grant. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson, tell us again about the $500,000. Did you say 500,000?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000 of in-kind.
5,000. I thought you
As
said
part of our
500.
grant
Okay.
request is that city will provide this, as you're aware, the Public Works will demolish sidewalks, and so there's an existing sidewalk that we're going to ask Public Works to come to tear out, so we just listed that as an extra in-kind match for the city's part.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Is there any further questions? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval to purchase from Warren Cat a Caterpillar 289D3 C3H3 skid steer loader with external machine counterweights, 80-inch bucket, 84-inch independent grapple rake, SG36 stump grinder, and BRX 318 brush cutter in the amount of $99,975 from state contract for use in the Parks and Recreation Department, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Ewan?
Mr. Chairman, committee, just want to confirm, as I did in the purchasing meeting, that what I put in your background information was not a typographical error. The piece of equipment that on the agenda is indeed replacing a 1981 International truck that we think that we've gotten our money's worth out of. In addition, this equipment that it's replacing is very slow when lifting tree trunks and large logs. It's in non-compliance with modern standards for protective guards and failure safety. So this new skid steer will take its place. It'll be much safer, much more efficient, and will make us more productive on the job site. The implements will enable the forestry crew to safely lift, load, clean up, and clear. And of note would be the ability to clear encroaching growth on our existing trails, as well as to construct primitive trails. So this machine has been discussed with and approved by Director of Fleet Management, Robert Swepston, and it is budgeted for the fiscal year 2021. So staff would recommend approval of this state contract price, $99,975 for the Caterpillar skid steer and implements. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Ewan?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda items. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7.
Consider approval to purchase from Deere and Company, P&K Equipment, Muskogee, a John Deere 5065E utility tractor in the amount of $31,494.54 from state contract for use in the Parks and Recreation Department, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Ewan?
Yes, this machine will be used primarily for mowing and construction purposes. In particular, this tractor will be, for most of the year, powering our multi-gang mower that's used to cut large expanses of grass. It'll also be used for a variety of landscape and horticulture purposes. Like before, this machine has been discussed with and approved by Robert Swepston, and it is budgeted for fiscal year 2021. So staff would recommend approval of the state contract price, $31,494.54 for the John Deere utility tractor. I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 7 passes, and that is our final item for Finance Committee.
Have the Public Works review April 5, 2021. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of March 15th, 2021.
Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
The motion carries. Item number 2.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of ordinance 4117-A to rezone property addressed as 801 North 48th Street from R1 Single Family Residential to A Agricultural, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
We will open the public hearing. Ms. Callahan?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. This is a request from James Wesley and Heather Jones. They were requesting to rezone their property from R1 residential to A agriculture. This is to allow for the continued agriculture use and then in the future a single-family dwelling. There is approximately, or there's over 15 acres on the property. This is the site and its location on North 48th Street. As you'll see, there is the Honor Heights subdivision to the east, and then to the west is some vacant agricultural use land. The site itself is R1 single-family residential, and it is currently being used as in agriculture use. To the north is R1 residential. There are single-family homes, but also some agriculture use. To the southeast along 48th Street, there's R1 single-family residential. To the northeast is R1 single-family residential, and that's the Honor Heights area. And then to the west is currently zoned agriculture, and this is our current zoning atlas map. And then this map kind of shows the area that is already agriculture. It is a request to go from the R1 residential to the A agriculture, and staff and planning commission recommend approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
No one signed up to speak to this, so we will close the public hearing. If anyone have any questions, Ms. Callahan?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes. Okay.
Ms. Callahan, the rezoning this to agriculture, going back to the east there with those Honor Heights homes, will that affect the value of any kind?
I wouldn't say so, and I'm not an appraisal, but having it go from vacant undeveloped land that's not really been kept up for use other than animals and maybe growing grass, that it should increase the values by having it developed.
The reason I was asking that, I got a call today, and that's why I said I'll ask this question tonight, because some people were afraid it was going to affect the value of their homes. So I asked you. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Any more questions?
Madam Chair, Ms. Callahan, did you say why they're redeveloping? Why they're changing the use?
They live up their mailing address is in the 400 block of North 48th Street, and they've owned this for about 11 years, 11 or 12. And they're just wanting to go ahead and start developing it, and starting with the agriculture uses to do a barn-type building, and then build their single-family home.
Okay. Thank you.
More questions?
Did they mention anything about any livestock being on the property?
No, they did not. I think there's a horse there. I didn't know if the horse was on their property or on the neighboring when I drove by there, but it's mostly vacant.
Sorry, turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion? Any motion?
I make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hous,
Yes.
Tracy McGee,
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan,
Yes.
Alex Reynolds,
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 3, please.
Discuss and provide direction to staff on amending the 2-year residency requirement for members who serve on the airport board or take other necessary action.
We do have, Ms. Hurley has signed up to speak to this. Would you please come to the microphone and give us your name and address?
To the mayor and council, my name is P. Boyati Craig. I live at 4207 Eagle Crest Drive here in Muskogee. I am the outgoing chair of the airport board, and in collaboration with Drew Safall, the airport manager, I'm here to request a change in the airport board membership ordinance requirements. The ordinance currently states all members of the board shall have have been residents of the city for at least 2 years. Change happens because of stakeholder involvement, and we have some stakeholders that have not been utilized. These folks have an interest in our airport. These are folks who rent, lease, park their vehicles, aka airplanes, in our hangars. They have a vested interest. They purchase fuel. They spend their money on other goods and services here in Muskogee. And some of these folks live in the county outside the city limits of Muskogee. Yet our membership ordinance prohibits them from being a member of the board. I heard our mayor say this when he was campaigning, and he said it often. Muskogee is about uniting folk because Muskogee is better together. This is not only truly stated, I believe it to be true. Muskogee is on the move, and as a resident of Muskogee, I give a hot chocolate as to what happens in this city. And we're not using these untapped resources. We are financed by the users of the airport board, of the airport. And with that being said, I'm asking that you vote to approve or amend the code to change our membership board requirements. As stated earlier, it says any individual who is a current resident of the city of Muskogee, having lived in the city limits for at least 2 years, I would like to add this, and at least 2 members of the board who do not meet the said residential requirements but has a substantial interest in the airport either through a hangar, leasing, or other use. If Drew Safall, the airport manager, would like to add anything. Okay.
My name is Drew Saffold. I'm the airport manager for the city of Muskogee. And this would be a good move because like all boards within the city, we sometimes have difficulty filling seats. And we have great folks, some who have leased hangars from us out there, have their airplanes parked in our hangars for 20 years who cannot serve on the airport board. Yet they live in the county, oftentimes just outside of city limits, have been lifelong residents, and want to serve on the board. Like Perlene stated, the airport is funded primarily, vastly, by airport user fees. The majority of that comes from hangar leasing, be it commercial T hangars, etc. So they are paying to fund the airport. The city general fund tax revenue does not fund the airport primarily. It's a very small portion. This is a great move in my opinion. I support it. And the majority, I have not ran into anybody out at the airport who opposes it. I think that if we had 2 seats that could be filled, they don't have to be filled by somebody within the county, but if somebody within the county who has a vested interest in the airport by leasing a hangar, et cetera, would like to serve, I think that's the way to go. So, thank you, Perlene.
We're asking you to consider that approval and recommendation. Any other questions?
Anyone have any questions?
I have a
Madam Chair,
question.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Alan.
Would they have to be someone who is currently involved in the airport?
That's what
Could
we
it-
prefer, someone
Could
that
it be
is
someone
currently.
who's just a concerned citizen that spends a lot of time on activities around here?
Well, we have that now, but what we're wanting to do is to amend the ordinance to include those individuals that live in the county that utilize the airport. The airport board is a 7-member board that consists of the city council and other members and then someone from the chamber. So what we're wanting to do is if 2 slots come open, we want to possibly fill those slots with individuals that are using our services out at the airport now, such as leasing equipment, leasing a building, or whatever.
Okay.
We think that's the good thing to do.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Boyati, I think this is a great idea because that way involves everyone. And like you said, they are leasing our, airport. And I think that's a very, very good idea that y'all came up with.
Yeah,
Involve everybody.
Yeah, we want the buy-in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized? I just also want to echo that I think that this is something that we should do. I mean, you can talk to other people out there that rather than just having someone in the city that's filling a board, I'd rather have somebody that utilizes our airport that's a qualified aviation-minded person.
Yes.
That'd be much more useful and be able to provide much better direction than just a board, someone trying to fill a board position, which I imagine is what we're just filling city position boards. So.
Right. We also think that this will help us in meeting our quorum, because we have had times when we've not been able to meet quorum. So if we have those individuals serve on this board, they have this buy-in, I think they will be dedicated and committed, and so that's why we're recommending this. I will say that the airport board has not had an opportunity to discuss this as a whole, because we have not met, well, we tried to meet last month, March 17th, and we did not meet quorum, even though we had it Zoom and in person. We have not met because of COVID protocol since June of 2020. So we just kind of felt like this would be a good time to go ahead and get the ordinance amended or changed.
I agree. Turn back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Tucker, can you give us some guidance on this, what will it need for a motion?
Sure, we just need approval to direct staff to move forward on making the requested amendment to the ordinance. We'll bring that back on Monday for your approval at council. And so we just need a motion to direct staff as discussed.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the motion passes.
Thank you.
Perlene, for bringing that to us. Item number 4.
Consider approval of final pay application to Cook Consulting LLC in the amount of $51,920 for water plant flood repair or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yeah, I'll be fielding this. Mr. Stewart is in the audience, but I'll take care of this for him. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee. This is an item that has been a little bit of time coming due to either COVID or FEMA restrictions and things like that. But back in 2019, the flood event that we had really did a number on the water treatment plant. It decimated it almost. It took out a good portion of the fence around our retention lagoons. There are 3 retention lagoons at the water treatment plant used to capture our backwash water before we discharge it to the river. It decimated those 3 ponds for the good part of a year and a half to almost 2 years. The water plant was restricted to 1 discharge lagoon instead of 3. There were also multiple pumps and motors that were flooded and deemed unusable because of the flooding event. So we put together a packet and put it out for bid. Cook Construction was the lowest bid for this work, and they came in and they repaired our discharge lagoons and also did some mitigation work on there to help prevent things like this from happening again. They also constructed concrete retaining walls around the most critical structures out there in efforts to help mitigate any future flooding damage that could occur. The amount of the contract was $529,000. I'm sorry. And the contract work and punch list items have been completed. Cook Construction actually did the work under budget. The final contract price was $454,492, so they actually saved us some money during all this work. And myself and Mr. Stewart would be happy to answer any questions that you may have, and we recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of change order number 5 for Cowan Group Engineering for water distribution improvements 30-inch water line project, or take other necessary action.
Thank you. This is a change order for the 30-inch water line project. We encountered just a few little difficulties, but the difficulties that we did encounter, they were pretty major. One such was a boring casing. It's a 40-inch casing that had to go under Main Street in order to run this water line underneath Main Street. The original location for the casing struck some foundation there, something pretty solid, so they had to back out and shift the direction of the water line just slightly in order to get through that, in order to get the casing in and get the water line through it. This change order also involves a few deduct items such as sod. There were areas that were not sodded. We seeded and put straw over those areas because whenever the sod was about to be laid, the weather just didn't cooperate with us and it was going to be too cold to grow any kind of grass there, so we opted to go with the seeding and the straw on that. Also, there was a few there's a few parts and pieces that were not required to complete this job, so they were deducted as well. So the overall total for this change order, and please forgive me here, is $218,991, which will bring the new total of the contract to $3,912,513.63, and staff recommends approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
The motion carries. Item number 6.
Consider approval of the bike share agreement between the City of Muskogee Wellness Initiative, St. Francis Health System, and Neighbors Building Neighborhoods for the purchase of a docking system and bicycles available for public use to be located at the Depot Green Trailhead or take other necessary action.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kevin Anthus and I are here on behalf of the Parks and Rec Department and the Muskogee Wellness Initiative. We are very excited about this project and development of the Depot Green Park. We think this will be a great addition and certainly are grateful for all the partners involved, especially St. Francis for their commitment to help finance. So we're ready as a Parks and Rec Department. The park is ready, and we'd like your approval to proceed. And we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
What, for the benefit of the public who does not know, can you explain what the docking station is and what it will do?
I'll let Kevin explain the details.
Sure. So this, the docking station would essentially host the bike. There would be a kiosk involved there, and that would allow members of the public, whoever would want to rent a bike, to access those bikes and then use them on the trails or around downtown, wherever biking lanes are available. So the docking station really is just a host for those bikes to be the kind of like a main hub.
Thank you. Move for approval.
Second.
For discussion, roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Irie Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 7.
Receive report on Depot District project, including the paving of the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame parking lot, and take other necessary action.
Madam Chairman, or Mr. Chairman, sorry. It'll run by itself, it's okay. If Bruce will go ahead and start that. Well, in the fall of 2019, a groundbreaking was held on the site of the new Depot Green in the heart of Muskogee's Depot District. Now, this project was funded by CIP funds, City of Muskogee Foundation, and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department. It includes an extension of Centennial Trail from 4th Street to Main Street, trailhead facilities, green space, event lawn, shelter, sidewalks, lighting, historically significant landscaping, restrooms, and facilities to host food trucks for special events. The final walkthrough was last Friday, and the final punch list is being worked to completion as we speak. Now, adjacent to the new Depot Green is the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame. With a gravel parking lot, it has been our diamond in the rough for a number of years. Now, as you can see in the first few photos, part of the Depot Green project was the addition of a curbed asphalt parking on the south side of the Hall of Fame's parking lot adjacent to the extension of Centennial Trail from 4th Street to 3rd Street. Well, the council recently provided the funds needed to make the improvement of paving the parking lot. So a curb, gutter, and sidewalk were added, asphalt paving, and aesthetic mulch between the sidewalk and the building. So this project was finished this past week, just in time for the first concert event of the season this coming Thursday evening. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. That is the conclusion of the report.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, I also want to say that this is a step in the right direction for Muskogee. We've got a number of our city properties that are either managed by the city or through various trusts, and certainly adding a parking lot to where gravel once was to an area that attracts a large number of attendees is certainly a plus. So thank you to the staff and all of those who were involved.
Concludes our agenda for the evening.